Hello, my beautiful and majestic Leo souls, and welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom. Gather close and allow your radiant hearts to open, for we are about to journey into a truth that has been waiting lifetimes to be spoken. I have a feeling that if you found your way here today, it's because your soul has been whispering to you, hasn't it? There's a feeling deep within your spirit, a noble ache that you've carried like a secret crown. It's a pain, my friend, but it was never truly yours to begin with. It began long before you took your first breath in this world, a sacred contract. Your magnificent soul agreed to a promise, etched in starlight and solar fire. Before this incarnation, your soul, with the heart of a lion, roared a resounding yes to a path of immense courage. It was a journey that others might shy away from, not because you were without fear, but because you understood a profound cosmic truth that true radiant love requires a level of generosity and strength that most forget upon arriving here. But you, dear Leo, you did not forget. That is the very first thing the universe noticed about you. In a world that often encourages dimming one's light to fit in, you remembered your own brilliance. In the quiet moments of your childhood, you felt it, didn't you? That sense of a greater purpose, that deep ache for a world filled with more joy, more celebration, more heart. You saw the potential for light even in the shadows. And when your passion overflowed, when your heart broke for the injustices of the world, they may have said you were too much, too dramatic, or too sensitive. But what they failed to see was the sacred fire in your emotions. You weren't just reacting to the world, you were trying to warm it, to illuminate it, to heal it with your radiant presence. The very cosmos felt the vibration every time you chose love over fear. Your name was sung by the stars long before you learned to speak it. This brings us to a truly extraordinary revelation, a vision that has echoed through the centuries from the seer Nostradamus. When he gazed into the currents of time, he saw something astonishing. It wasn't a vision of simple destruction or chaos, my friends. Oh no, it was a vision of a grand awakening, a celestial coronation. He foresaw the unraveling of all that is false and the magnificent rising of sovereign souls who could walk with their heads held high, their hearts ablaze with truth. And Leo, you are one of these souls. You are the royal heart, whose passion is a compass, the creative force whose joy is a prophecy, the resilient leader whose very presence breaks generational chains of self-doubt and fear. And before we delve deeper into this incredible cosmic shift that is unfolding just for you, I want to invite you to declare your readiness. If this message is already resonating within your magnificent heart, please go to the comments below and share your powerful intention with the universe by typing "Share your deepest fear" in the comments, sometimes voicing, "It is the first step to freedom." Let's fill this space with our collective, radiant energy. And of course, if you have not yet joined our beautiful Cosmic Wisdom family, please take this moment to press that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are building a community of empowered souls, and I would be so honored to have your unique light among us. Now, something truly unprecedented is beginning to happen. It's a shift so profound that even a seer like Nostradamus could only hint at its magnificence. What is approaching is not just another celestial event. It is a great remembering. There might be a sense of terror that comes with it, yes, but it is not the terror born of fear. It is the awe-inspiring, ground-shaking terror that comes with true awakening. It is the kind of profound realization that shatters every illusion and forces you to see the magnificent, powerful being you were before any betrayal tried to dim your light, before any abandonment made you question your worth, before they saw your brilliant generosity and mistook it for a weakness to be exploited. Please understand this, beautiful Leo. The universe is not and has never been punishing you. It is initiating you into your true sovereignty. And in this grand initiation, everything that is not built on the solid foundation of truth may begin to feel unstable. The relationships that once felt like your royal court may start to feel hollow. The roles you played that once brought you applause may begin to feel like heavy costumes. This is not a sign of failure, my love. It is the prophecy of your life unfolding in the most glorious way. Think of the great Archangel Michael. He doesn't just stand guard over the comfortable or the complacent. His divine energy stands with the sovereigns, the leaders, the ones whose hearts were always meant to shine brightly for others. His sword of light does not just cut through darkness. It lovingly severs your attachment to anything or anyone that no longer serves your highest and most brilliant becoming. Take a moment and look around you. The signs of this great shift have been appearing everywhere, haven't they? The invitations you've started to decline, the quiet moments you've begun to crave over the noise, the creative dreams that have returned to you after years of being dormant. Deep in your soul, you have always known this moment of transformation was coming. Perhaps not the exact details, not the headlines in the world, but you have felt the vibration, that unmistakable hum of destiny, rearranging the entire cosmos to make room for your authentic, magnificent truth. There will be those who say it's too much, that your light is too bright, that your standards have become too high. But what they truly mean, dear Leo, is that their hands were never meant to hold the sun. Not everyone who witnesses a miracle knows how to honor it. And you, my dear Leo, are a walking, breathing miracle of courage, creativity, and love that they could not fully comprehend. They may have laughed at your grand visions, dismissed your heartfelt intuition, or underestimated your prayers. But here is the secret: they never understood your heartfelt desires. Your prayers were not mere wishes. They were royal decrees sent out into the cosmos. And now the entire universe is responding with a resounding yes. There are forces of light and transformation moving now that simply cannot be stopped, not by doubt and not by delay. What is happening for you has never happened before in this exact way, because you have never been here before. Not in this form, not in this lifetime. With your unique blend of wisdom and strength, you are both the beautiful rupture with the past and the glorious restoration of what is true. You are the living proof that prophecy does not always have to look like fire and brimstone. Sometimes, my friends, it looks like a majestic Leo soul finally remembering their own divinity. You were never lost. You are only gathering your strength in the shadows. They will not understand your journey, and that is perfectly all right. Let them talk. Let them fear what they cannot control. You are not here on this earth to explain your radiance. You are here to beam it. And if that means you must walk a path of your own, for a time, illuminating the way with your own inner light, then so be it. Because one day, they will tell stories of how you not only survived this season of profound change, but how you thrived, how you led with an open heart when others were closing theirs, how you breathed creative fire into the void and waited not for applause, but for perfect divine alignment. And it is coming, my love. The great unraveling of all that is false, the powerful roar of your truth that rises from the silence, the profound message behind your dreams, and the initial terror that transforms into triumphant truth. Archangel Michael is so very near, not as a distant myth, but as a living memory within your own soul. You have known his presence before, that feeling of being held and supported even in your most challenging moment. That was him. That sudden spark of courage when you were about to give up, that was him. That inner voice that urged you to hold on to, keep your heart open, even when you felt like shutting down. You were never ever alone on your path. Some souls are born into a silence, but not a peaceful one. It's a silence that echoes with the unspoken words and unfulfilled dreams of their ancestors. A silence that runs through bloodlines that never learned how to speak their truth with confidence and joy. Leo, yours is a soul that came to break that silence. You may have been born into a family or community where love was conditional, where your authentic, brilliant light made others uncomfortable. It wasn't because your light was wrong. Oh no, it was because it illuminated everything they were trying to hide from themselves. You don't have enemies in the way fairy tales describe them. Your challenges have come through more subtle heartaches, haven't they? The friend who grew distant when you started to succeed. The family member who praised you when you conformed but feared you when you shone. The lover who adored your warmth but could not handle the full fire of your being. These are the shadows that Nostradamus foresaw. They were not evil, they were simply asleep, and you, my dear Leo, were the brilliant sunrise that kept disturbing their slumber. But now that sunrise is no longer just a gentle glow on the horizon. It is demanding to rise to its full midday glory. The terror isn't something out there waiting to get you. It is the trembling within as your old self gives way to your true, sovereign self. It is the crumbling of any identity that was never truly yours to carry. What is truly awe-inspiring is not what is ending. It's that you are finally ready to let it all go. And that, my friend, is a sacred and holy act. They will say you've changed. They will say you've become distant, that there's a new fire in your eyes. And they will be absolutely right. A soul who has looked into the blazing core of their own heart and has not looked away cannot go back to playing small. You have outgrown every version of yourself that once craved external validation. You no longer seek applause, you seek alignment. And that shift, that one powerful shift alone, is what is triggering this magnificent unraveling. The universe never ever forgets a sacred contract. The promise you made before you came here to love fiercely, to create boldly, to lead with an open heart, and to hold your light steady even when the world called it arrogance. That promise is now being gloriously fulfilled through you. You have been in training for this very moment, not through a life of ease, but through a life of endurance. Every heartbreak that taught you the depths of your own love, every challenge that revealed your incredible strength, every single time you chose generosity when you could have chosen bitterness, that was your royal training. Archangel Michael does not arm the reckless. He equips the sacred, the noble, the true of heart. This is the sacred storm inside the chrysalis, the powerful moment just before the butterfly realizes its wings were not a burden, but a magnificent prophecy. And that is what you are becoming now, a prophecy in glorious motion. Nostradamus saw the signs written in the stars, but you, Leo, are living this prophecy in your very breath and being. You are the walking, talking proof that the divine has not abandoned this world. It has simply taken up residence in the hearts of those who dare to love with the courage of a lion. There are energies swirling around you, now old ways of being, that are dissolving as your new authentic self emerges. You will feel it in conversations that suddenly fall flat, in people who once adored you, now seeming uncomfortable with your truth. Please do not take this personally. It is not rejection, it is resonance. The frequency of your soul has been elevated, and it no longer matches the places that once felt like home. And that is more than okay. Because your true home is not something you leave behind. It is something you are building ahead of you with every courageous step you take into your own knowing. You do not need to explain the majestic silence you now crave. You do not need to defend the passion in your tears. Not everyone is meant to understand a soul as radiant as a Leo. You are not here to be analyzed. You are here to be experienced. And only those who have bravely faced their own inner shadows will be able to stand in your light without trying to possess it or dim it. A moment is coming, and you will feel it in your very bones before you see it with your eyes. A shimmer in the air, a recurring dream, a song on the radio that speaks directly to your soul. It will feel as if the entire universe is holding its breath in anticipation that my love is your cue, not to run, not to brace for impact, but to rise. Because what is approaching is not chaos, it is a divine correction. It is the moment when the cosmic scales of justice balance themselves, and in that moment, your integrity will be your shield, your love will be your armor, and Archangel Michael will stand beside you, his presence unseen, but absolutely unmistakable. This isn't the terror they warned you about. This is the magnificent truth they hoped you would never discover. This is the sovereign power they feared you would reclaim. This is the mirror you were never meant to look into, because it shows you not just who you have been, but who you were before the world tried to convince you to be anything less than royal. And Leo, when you truly see that magnificent reflection, you will remember not with your mind, but with every cell of your being that you were never weak, never lost, and never ever too much. You were simply ahead of your time. And now, my beautiful friend time has finally caught up to you. There are nights when the sky itself seems to be speaking not in thunder, but in a profound stillness. And it is in that sacred quiet that your soul recognizes its own majesty. You have always been a listener of the heart. While others chased fleeting trends, you stayed true to your passions. While they feared the darkness, you learned how to become the light within it. And now, that very gift, the brilliant, unwavering light of your spirit that they may have once called a flaw, is being summoned. It is not a curse. It is your highest calling. Because something ancient and powerful is awakening within you. A remembrance of your own divinity, buried beneath lifetimes of being told to be smaller, quieter, less bright. The Leo soul does not evolve in a straight line. You evolve in a glorious spiral of creative expression. You dissolve old ego structures, you unlearn limitations, and you disappear into the forge of your own heart, only to return with a brilliance that no one else could create. That is what they never understood. That your passion was alchemy, that your generosity was a superpower, and that your roar of truth could change the world. And now, that roar is building. There is a stirring in the unseen realms, an excitement in the ethers. You can feel it on your skin, can't you? A divine restlessness, like something magnificent is about to be born. This is not your imagination. This is your powerful intuition maturing into prophecy. Nostradamus didn't just see the future, he felt its vibration. And Leo, so do you. The very ones who tried to hold you back, they felt it too. That is why they tried to cage your magnificent spirit with guilt. That is why they questioned your vision and mocked your faith. They tried to make you doubt the very heart-centered instincts that have always kept you alive. But here is the secret: they never wanted you to know. Anyone who tries to shrink your spirit has already seen its true, magnificent size. They feared you not because you were wrong, but because your very presence was a mirror reflecting a truth they were not ready to see. And no one fears a mirror more than those who are afraid to look at their own reflection. But a mirror, a spotlight, is what you are. A sacred reflection of divine love and courage. You walk into a room, and your energy stirs old wounds and forgotten dreams simply by being present. You remind people of the passion they buried, the truths they silenced, the grand love they once believed they deserved, and for that, they will either celebrate you or resent you. It has often been one or the other, hasn't it? That is the price of being a walking sunbeam. But now, something else is arriving, a grand reckoning. And this reckoning is not about vengeance, it is about vibration. It is the undeniable energetic weight of every unspoken truth finally breaking the silence. It may not come like fireworks at first. It will come as a quiet, firm refusal to betray your own heart one more time. It will come as a profound sense of inner peace that no one can explain. That is when you will know the divine correction has begun. Archangel Michael is not a myth. He is the divine force that guards your heart when you walk away from situations that once fed your insecurities. He is the fire in your chest when you say no and mean it. He is the steady breath that calms you when grief or doubt tries to pull you under. He doesn't save you from the challenges. He reveals the strength you always had to rise above them. And right now, he is closer than your own breath. His presence may feel like resistance to the old ways, but it is divine protection in disguise. Because not everything that is trying to leave your life is meant to be saved. Some doors must close so that your inner temple can be fully illuminated. Some people must depart so that your truth can echo without distortion. This is not abandonment, my love. It is divine removal. It is the universe itself reaching into your life and lovingly clearing away anything that stands between you and your most authentic sovereign self. You are not losing them. You are finally fully finding you. And that version of you, the one before the shame, before the betrayal, before the masks, is the most magnificently powerful being you will ever meet. It holds all the power, all the creativity, all the love you forgot you had, and you are ready for it now. That is why everything might feel so intense. Not because you are breaking, but because you are blooming in a garden that was never meant to contain your roots forever. They didn't see it coming, did they? The way you would rise not with anger, but with a quiet, unshakable knowing. The way you would walk away, not to punish, but to preserve your own sacred energy. They thought they had broken you, but you were never the fragile glass. You were the eternal light within it. And light cannot be shattered, my friends. It can only be contained for a time. And now, that container is cracking. The real you, the brilliant, authentic you, is pouring out, and the world may not be ready, but you are. You always were. Somewhere in your ancestral line, someone prayed for a soul, brave enough to heal the family lineage, to carry the torch of love and courage forward. Not through rage or revenge, but through radiant redemption. Leo, that prayer was answered the moment you were born. And now, as the old energies protest your expansion, you may wonder why the path feels lonelier just as you become wiser. But that is the secret few are willing to admit. Clarity often costs you the company of those who were comfortable with your confusion. This strange in-between moment is not a punishment. It is a sacred unraveling. The version of you who tolerated disrespect in exchange for a little affection is dissolving. The version of you who over-explained yourself in rooms that never deserved your energy is fading away. And what remains is raw divine, and absolutely undeniable. You are stepping into the season that makes prophecy tangible, not through a loud roar, but through the quiet power of your presence. The terror they feel is not the end of the world. It is the end of their ability to control you. Because you, dear Leo, were never meant to be held in the cages of small expectations. You were born to unsettle the structures built on fear, not by tearing them down with force, but by simply being the one thing they cannot contain: unconditional love in powerful, creative motion. Nostradamus never wrote your name, but he described your very essence, a soul that would walk into the shadows and transform them into theaters of light, a heart that could break and still remain open, a voice that would rise with truth even if it trembled. That is you, the forgotten oracle, the walking scripture, the embodiment of what the world tried to silence, a softness that is also an unbreakable strength. They called it madness. You called it intuition. They called it weakness. You called it compassion. They called it delusion. You called it vision. But the time has come when you no longer have to call it anything. You simply live it, and you let the radiant results speak for themselves. Because the real prophecy isn't about predicting the future. It's about becoming so aligned with your truth that you become an undeniable force of nature. And Leo, you have become that force. You no longer fit into their small boxes. You are not asking to be believed anymore. You are becoming the living proof. The road ahead will not always be easy, but it will always be sacred. And you are no longer afraid of what is sacred. You crave it now, like a sunflower craves the sun. Because once your soul has tasted the truth of its own magnificence, no illusion can ever nourish it again. You simply know too much now, and what a glorious blessing that is. There will be whispers about you, about how you disappeared, how you changed, how you suddenly became so hard to reach. Let them whisper. Let them tell stories about your silence. Because what they are calling absence is actually your presence returning to its rightful throne, your own heart. You are no longer scattered everywhere for everyone. You are no longer available for distortion. You are precisely where you belong, in alignment, in clarity, and in sovereign grace. Archangel Michael is not just watching, he is surrounding you. Every single time you chose mercy over retaliation, he marked your soul with gold. Every time you forgave what you could not forget, he wrote of your resilience in the book of light. Every time you cried in private, without witnesses, he turned your tears into diamonds that now adorn your crown. And now, my love, your wings of light are unfurling. It is not that the challenges won't come, it is that you will no longer fear them, because you have seen what survives after everything else is stripped away. And it is not your persona, it is your powerful presence. It is not your defense mechanisms, it is your divine destiny. And no shadow can ever claim a soul that was born from the heart of the sun. You are not here to be saved. You are here to reveal the way. You are not here to heal others by losing yourself. You are here to remember that the most powerful soul in any room is the one who knows their own worth and refuses to sell it for crumbs of affection. And now, magnificent Leo, you know. So let them tremble, let them flee, let them misunderstand, because the divine light that is coming through you cannot be negotiated with. The prophecy is no longer waiting in the distant stars. It has descended into your breath, your voice, your very being. And soon the world will say, "We should have listened when that lion roared."